Mr. Rogers' neighborhood fashion, I am getting dressed. Still changing, sort of changing clothes. Sort of. I need to be careful. I need to be being more careful about my hydration. I'm not paying enough care to my hydration. It's gonna cause me serious problems because the cold will dehydrate you by itself. And I just walked fucking 5 miles for a icy. With an icy is my hydration. So not hydration. I need to be mindful of that. Careful of that. Hey Eric, what's up, buddy? It is alive, man. Didn't go anywhere. Okay. Suddenly in excruciating pain. Trying not to just ignore it and let it be. Hey, Rachy, baby. That's fine, Eric. I wasn't going to tag you back. Fuck. I might not actually be able to do this live if I'm dehydrated. I'm going to be in too much pain. That's on me. I didn't see that. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't see that coming when I went live. My hernia is bulging because I'm dehydrated. And so it feels like I both have to pee and am experiencing a UTI. So it's just the exquisitest kind of agony, and it's going to have me up and down peeing for the next hour or two while I get the. No, I said this. I have a bottle and a half of water. The only thing I've had to drink the last 3 hours is an icy. So I'm just not hydrated. I have a bottle of water. You know I have a bottle and a half of water. I have an unopened bottle of water in here. Because I told you I was going to keep an unopened bottle of water in here for moments like this when I got back to the tent and realized I didn't have enough to drink all day, so I can sit and chug the water. But it's also just going to have me up peeing. Because pelvic hernia. So give me like a few minutes. I guess we could hang out and talk or whatever. I hate doing that part, but if we could do like a shoot the shit for a second while I see if I'm going to be in too much pain or if I got it soon enough. No, I'm not carrying that much water, Eric, on a herniated pelvis, buddy. I don't know if you fully understand how much pain I'm talking about. I love you, but I'm not taking an empty milk jug into a Taco Bell and filling that up. I'll just fill up my liter bottle. Especially when ostensibly I'm paying Panera $15 a month. Ostensibly when I'm paying Panera $15 a month for free drinks, I should never be dehydrated. I shouldn't let myself get to this point. Well, what I gotta do isn't, I don't need gallons of water. And anyway, that water is just gonna sit around and freeze. Yeah, I'm gonna cough my hernia sore and really just regret every choice I'm making. Live to regret every choice I've made today. Uh, I don't know. She's probably still. She's probably doing something else. I imagine it's midnight or it's 1:30 where she's at. I'm probably not the only thing that she's given her attention to. I am putting these gloves on. There's a non-zero chance I didn't eat enough calories today. There's a non-zero chance I just didn't manage my day well because I wanted to see that movie. And so just everything else fell to the wayside so I could catch that movie. And yes, it's very cool. It is very cold tonight. Today I put up a 7 days to die, I think. Ugh. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm not gonna try to compete with college, basically football. I'm not gonna try to compete with football. So I'm not gonna put up a video on Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday every week. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. Thursday's the if. I'm gonna try to hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, Sunday. I'm not gonna compete with um, football. It doesn't make sense. Not that my videos get watches as it is. Like, I'm not putting up my videos and hitting 10,000 watches, views, or whatever in a few hours. That's just not happening. I'm not worried about it. You would, just because some people have no interest in sports. Well, most people have no interest in my material. Donnie, Principe, are you watching my material? You all over my Schedule 1 work, are you, Donnie? You there at the premieres every time you're there and you're so active in the chat. I see you in my comments every day, just blowing up my work. Now you just got here and you're telling me what you would do like you're on this side of the camera. If I were you, I'd fuck off. But I'm not you, so I'm going to continue doing me my way without giving a shit what you would do in any circumstance. I don't remember putting out a questions, comments survey. I don't remember this having a 1877 number on the end with a coupon promised to you or a sweepstakes that might net you thousands of dollars. In fact, I don't remember asking. I don't remember asking what you're saying. I just don't remember that. Maybe it happened. Maybe it happened. I have CTE, so it may have happened, but I don't remember it. All I'm saying is that I popped in, let you know I was here, and then left, and I have no intention of coming back. Get fucked. Deep and hard by a selfish and ungiving lover with no aftercare. I hope he makes you cry. And I hope he doesn't call you back. I hope he leaves your nasty gaping ass pics that you send him telling him that you want him. I hope he leaves you on red. He's got better things to do with his time. Donnie. I feel like the world's got enough Donalds. People who identify as a Don. I don't know what I'm doing. Which is funny because I identify as an El Don Vicente. You tooted. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. But I might have got to the dehydration fast enough. And good fortune is really good. Seth Rogen is the best. There, I don't know if I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I was really trying to watch Aziz Ansari's career, right? Because Parks and Rec, he was good. His show on Netflix was good. The Me Too movement ruined his career, and this seems like his revival. This is the only thing I know he's been in since Me Too got a hold of him. But Aziz Ansari is a really wooden actor. He was funny, but he's wooden as an actor, especially in dramatic roles, like delivering normal dialogue. The way he speaks is really wooden or exaggerated. So yeah, he's good. He's funny. He's a good actor, but his delivery is weird, especially in just normal dialogue. Like just having a normal conversation with Aziz Ansari, I feel would be an uncanny experience. I don't think he would be able to actually lock in and just be serious and use a serious tone of voice and be believable in his um, intonation and the way he says his words. And maybe that's growing up with an Indian uh, family. I don't know. I don't know. So I was watching his work to try to figure it out. And he's very good. But if you're watching the movie and you're examining them for their reality, he's wooden and weird to watch. His scenes with the Kiki girl, with the black love interest, she's the same way though. Like her delivery was weird. Their delivery was weird. The way they spoke to one another wasn't like people who knew one another. It was like people doing caricatures of themselves or caricatures of the way they act. I don't know. Yeah, he's the kind of dude that you look at and it's real hard to take serious. Yeah, he's really good in comedies. And this is that kind of movie. This is that kind of movie where it's hard to take the characters seriously because the premise is a body swap, a life swap movie. So the premise and the characters become caricatures almost. It's more cartoony, like storyboarded. And that's fine. I like that. I liked that about it. It was just when those two characters, those two actors were on screen together, it was very much I'm watching a movie now. And those scenes dragged. They did not have chemistry. And that's a casting thing. That's the casting director, and I looked and I didn't know the casting director. So one of those two characters could have been someone else. And I felt like it was her. She was the weaker of the two. But she was only on screen for the weakest scenes. And so it could entirely be less about her and more about the screenplay writer was just not good at writing scenes with women in them. And that's entirely possible. Not everybody is good at writing every kind of character. Some people are going to struggle with some characters. There are characters I know I struggle to portray because I don't know those people. Maybe I've never spoken to them. So it's entirely possible that he wrote this character and her dialogue for a white girl. And then they cast a black girl, and her portrayal is weird, ebonics, hyper, super passionate, but her emotions all in weird places because of her intonation, because of her accent, because of her portrayal. It just made it, frankly, when she has this character moment where she puts herself out there in a competition and she loses, and when she loses, it's believable that she lost because of her character portrayal. So the casting decision might have been a good one if the script was weak for the female character. Picking somebody who was going to frankly stand out like a character from another movie, right? It worked. It worked. The whole movie worked. Because I wouldn't recommend watching this movie for the actor, the portrayal driven nature of the movie. It wasn't a portrayal driven movie. The actors were fine. The dialogue was very good. It was very well written. It wasn't punchy. It wasn't trying to be funny, and it wasn't trying to be a written comedy. It was very much trying to capture how would people actually act in this spot using comedians, because comedians spend more time around normal people doing absurd premises and not trying to get them to laugh, trying to get them to buy into the premise. All that's good. I liked all of that. Um, but Seth Rogen was the only character who was the only actor who portrayed a character with range. He was the only actor who portrayed a character with dynamic character range. All of the other characters remained the same character, but his character grew and shrunk and then grew again widely. They did a really good job of not giving him an arc, but allowing him to stretch and compact and stretch like a real person under real stress. They did a real good job with that. And his face. He was the only actor that portrayed his character in his face, which is a big deal to me, because of the childhood trauma, maybe because of the autism, but also because I'm a writer. Um, I watch people's faces, especially actors. Do they believe what they're saying? You can tell whether an actor believes the character and where they buy in on the character by whether their face is believable. And I think that because Aziz Ansari puts a wall between him and the character, this character is not me, that his face is that of a liar. But that's what the movie was about. I think they did that on purpose. I think that Aziz Ansari was maybe even written for this role, if not he wrote it himself, because that's what the character is like too. The character is really struggling with this wall of who he's portraying and who he really is, and that wall getting in the way of that wall, in fact, being his narrative conflict. That wall, in fact, being between him and what he wants and what he needs. The wall becomes what he wants, and what he needs is on the other side of it. And they did a really good job portraying that. They did a really good job. In fact, they did a really good job of dragging out the body switch back. I like body switch movies, which my girlfriend will hopefully vociferously confirm for you if you ask her. I love body switch movies. There was a Ryan Reynolds. I can never remember the actor's name, but he played Michael He played Michael in Arrested Development. There was a Ryan Reynolds and that guy. I don't remember his name, but they switched bodies, and it's fucking hilarious. Actually, it's really, really good. I like those kind. I like body switch movies because movies movies are fiction, right? But movies are seeing is believing. And but the body switch movie like Face Off, body switch movies are life switch, personality switch, body switch movies. They're an opportunity for these pair of actors and then everyone around them. And the change up movies are just an opportunity for these actors to show a really dynamic range of skills, right? Like Face Off is a great movie, not because it's particularly well written or because the scenes are interesting or anything but tropey by that point. Um, it was interesting to watch, uh, I forgot his name, act like Nick Cage. It was interesting to watch him behave like Nick Cage behaving like John Travolta. It was like John Travolta looked Nick Cage in the face and said, "How would you behave in this situation if you were me?" And then did it that way. And it was really cool from an art. Yeah, John Travolta, help me. Thank you for that. It was really like Fight Club. It was really cool to watch these characters, these actors act. Watching actors act at a high level is really cool to watch. This isn't that movie, except for Seth Rogen. I'm going to pivot now because there's one of you who knows how I feel about this. I don't like Keanu Reeves. Never have until this movie. He was excellent in this movie. Change Up is the name of the movie with, yeah, those guys. Thank you. That's a great movie, The Change Up. Yeah, it's a great movie. The Ryan Reynolds switches in lives with dude Michael from Arrested Development and his the wife. So Ryan Reynolds is with a new wife and she had Ty that night and she was talking all sex times and he was getting excited to get to fuck his buddy's wife, right? And then she's gripping the bottom of the pot, pushing out all this Thai food. And then she comes in and still wants sex. And he says, "You get away from me. You got that thing coming in here all hot." And I was a newlywed. I'd only been married for about a year. And that shit hit home so perfect. Great movie. I've never liked Keanu because he's wooden and weird in movies. He's wooden and weird. Um, his delivery is always the same. He always talks the same, and it's always wooden and weird, and his face is always incongruous with the scene. He doesn't believe. He's from a time when movies were made because you look cool, and he looks cool, but that's something I'm not going to talk about in the movie. His look is not what I'm going to talk about. Um, he was good. He was exceptional. And that's it. That's all I want to say. He was exceptional. Go watch this movie. He was exceptional. He was my favorite character. I wanted to watch the movie to see him say what he says in the trailer. I wanted to know the context for why he's working dishes in a Filipino restaurant. I wanted to know what the context was behind him telling Jeff, Seth Rogen's character, "Leave me alone, Jeff," about his cigarette. Seth Rogen's character, Jeff, he sees him. He's standing outside this Filipino restaurant in his uniform, his hair all pulled back in a greasy bun, and he's down to the last little bit of his cigarette, and he's just hitting it so fucking hard. And Jeff, Seth Rogen, it's like, "Dude, you smoke now?" And he goes, "Leave me alone, Jeff. It's all I got, and I like it." And I wanted to know the context. I wanted to know how they arrived at that scene. I'll watch your stupid movie for that scene. Now, how did you get there? And it was brilliant. The way they arrived at that scene was really great. It was really great. "Leave me alone, Jeff." I'm going to be saying that for the rest of my life. It's all I've got, and I like it. But he had range. He showed range in this movie. There's a point where he's standing there with Seth Rogen, and he goes, "I've been trying not to let anybody know this, Jeff, but I'm a little bit of a dum-dum." Seth Rogen puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "No, buddy." It's a good movie. It's really good. It's really good, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it gets into sociopolitics of homelessness, and it hits it right on the fucking head. It's perfect. Yeah, nails it, and nails the power fantasy of the person who just can't figure out how to make enough money to not be homeless. Nails it. That perfect. Perfect. This is written from a real place, if not somebody who's lived an extremely difficult life, someone who's read the research. I don't want to spoil too much of it. There are so many memorable lines. I'll end up spoiling it probably for my girlfriend. But there are so many memorable lines. Can you imagine what it would be like? What it he goes, can you imagine what it is like for me to be immortal, to have existed for tens of thousands of years, to have seen the strawberry evolve, and to never get to know the delicious majesty of this berry? But the way Keanu Reeves talks, so it's great, man. It's great. And the way he talks fits his character. Somebody wrote a character to the way he talks and the way he acts and the way he uses his weird face. And then now I'm going to talk about his look. The the only thing anybody ever said about him, the anybody ever is talking about is how hot he is. So now I understand some things. Like a woman goes up to Jeff and is like, "So do you know the really tall guy with like the long hair and the beard?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know that guy. He's my friend." And she goes, "Shut up, shut up, shut up. He's really hot. I'm gonna go sit on his face. He's wooden and weird. He is wooden and weird though. It would be weird to hang out with him. It'd be weird to read his body language. If he's the way he is on camera is how he is like off camera, it would just be weird to hang out with him. So I understand why I don't have any dude friends. Rigid. Yeah. But also like his details are stuck like when you look at a pane of wood, the details are fixed. So his face is fixed in one emotion, but also it's hard. It's just fixed like that. Not like a painting, but like wood, wooden. So not ugly, not even necessarily expressionless, but when he wears an expression, when he chooses an expression, it's that expression for the whole scene, or at least for the whole shot he's on camera. He doesn't change his face in a scene. So like when he smiles, it's like kind of between scenes. It's like kind of like they do jump cuts between it might be the way the camera works his face. I might not watch enough of his stuff to understand. I've never watched an interview. And it's just like on screen they do jump cuts between his facial expressions. I know it's Keanu. I know. Um I don't know if it's him. It's just something I've noticed in his movies, and so I don't like watching his movies. It might be the way he's shot, but it might be the way he acts. Because that might be how movies were shot when he was young. Like it's not Ferris Bueller. It's not Fast Times. It's like Totally Rad Adventure, Ted's Awesome Adventure. Is it like that? Is that what it's called? I haven't seen all three of these movies. I haven't seen them. That's why I'm like, okay, it's not. They're all in the same spot in my brain. And so, like, when I'm thinking about it, that's how they shot a lot of movies in the 70s and 80s, is like the really like storyboards, like talkie storyboards. And that might have to do with it might have had to do with the cameras. And so, in this movie, they did a lot of face shots. They did a lot of the face is the frame, and then everything around them out of focus. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Thank you. That might be why I hear you, Eric. I know. I know that. And I didn't like The Matrix in large part because of this. They do that face shot and they blur everything out around it. And that might make changes of facial expression, especially in the olden times. It might have made changes of facial expression blur. And so, if it would make the facial expressions blur back in the day, so you couldn't see the transition between very subtle facial expressions, and he might be doing very subtle facial expressions. I don't know. I haven't studied his movies like I studied this one as I was watching his face. But he was very good. He was very good. Very good. And his affection for chicken nuggies felt like the first time that Keanu Reeves, had ever eaten a chicken nugget. It was, he portrayed that better than I thought he would. I didn't think I would believe it. I really did not think I would. I wanted to watch this movie because I did not think, I genuinely was skeptical. I went in thinking I will not believe his portrayal of this character. And I did. He was very good. Sure, in comedies, like on stage, this wasn't that kind of movie. It wasn't that kind of comedy. It probably in test audiences didn't get a lot of laughs out loud, like it got from me. It got a bunch of laughs out loud from me. It had some really, really, really good dialogue. Some of the dialogue, just some of the things the actors got to say, but some of the things the characters choose to say, right, are written to say. But if you suspend your disbelief and you believe them as characters, right, you believe them as real people. Some of the things they said, the choices they made, were very funny. Very funny. But then I really, really liked the call to action at the end. Sure. And so I would recommend watching it because I really, really liked the call to action at the end. Well, no, not necessarily things they wouldn't say. It was more like, instead of, okay, usually in comedies, what they do is they'll write caricature dialogue to get laughs. They'll have people say things in funny ways to get laughs. But what they did in this dialogue is they chose the Philolite approach and they just said it the way it is. And so it cuts out a lot of story, but it also put all the characters in really awkward positions. And so some of the ways they responded truthfully to one another was just really funny. It was just really funny and really human. And that got around. I think that was deliberate. I don't know. I think it was deliberate to get away around the wooden way that that movie was shot, or at least to get around um to get around making the movie just an LOL cliche, because it is trying to talk about sociopolitics. It is trying very much to use comedians, uh, Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari, who whose careers were badly damaged the last 7 years, badly damaged for no reason. Um, they've taken these people and they used them to tell a really really important story, to really show people what the truth can really do for you. The one of my favorite things about the movie is the recurring motif of the angel Gabriel, as portrayed by Keanu Reeves, um, being willing to go along with their plots, their ideas, the human schemes, because what they said was true. Well, that's true. And then go along. Okay, well, that's true. And then go along. Oh, that's true. And then go along. Because that, well, the trueness, the trueness, the truism, or the truity, the truthiness, if we remember when, um, if we remember when Stephen Colbert was still culturally relevant, the truthiness of a claim or an idea or a plot or anything, the truthiness can really, really get your life fucked up. Truisms can just fuck your life up. If you, especially if you misappropriate or misapply a truism, can really just fucking ruin your life. Like slow and steady winning the race. That's a truism that can ruin your life. But it's also a truism. It's also a truism that you can use to manipulate and steal from wealthy donors. I was watching this guy today. Explain for a minute and 11 seconds of a 15-minute video that he struggles to get a video out, 15-minute video out every 14 days, 2 weeks, every 14 days. 14 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes is an absurd amount of time to be wasting if you can't take 15 minutes out of those minutes, something like 15,000 minutes. If you can't take 15 minutes out of those 14 days, you can't produce a quality 15 minutes across 14 days. Your time management is appalling. And so if you are drawing an income during that 14 days when you are not producing on your deadline, what you are doing is called grift. What you're doing is called theft. It's called time theft. When you steal from a corporation, when you steal from their clock, it's theft. And they will get you eventually. And so if you're going into doing like what I'm doing, and you're going into private work for yourself, and you can't produce in the windows that you promise, but you still eat, you're a thief and a liar, a grifter and a con. You're lazy. You need to find another profession. or you need to start over at the beginning. Because this shit is easy. This is the easy, yeah, grift. Grift, it's another kind of con. Griefter is a good Griefter is a good pun, but you had it spelled right the first time. Now this economy of ripping off the wealthy is why the wealthy don't spend their money in the economy. People ask me, why is your channel not growing? Why is your channel not growing? Why is your channel not growing? Because I can't afford to pay the bot farms that YouTube wants me to use to make it look to you like this is more successful than what it is, so you'll show up thinking that you're arriving at something that's already built, ready for you to just party in it. And that just ain't what this is. In fact, this party, it just ain't for you. I'll mute you so fucking fast. All you gotta do is annoy me 2 times in a row. You annoy me 2 days in a row and you're gone. I don't give a fuck if you got that star. I just don't give a fuck. It gets lonely at the top. Yeah, no shit. I am here for you. I am here for you. I'm not here for your money. And I was thinking about it on my walk home. And I'm just not here to be your friend. I'm just not. I worked gas stations and I worked service. I worked at the bottom of this economy. I have worked and still working at the bottom of this economy. I worked at the bottom of our service economy, and now I am working at the bottom of our gig economy. And I can tell you right now, the middle is the problem. The middle is the problem, not the top. It's the middle. Their kids are useless. Middle class kids are utterly useless. They're useless for everything but fucking. Utterly useless. Poor people have always been useless. But they're useful for odd jobs. That's why they don't make money. That's why they don't make shit. But managers, the real reason one of the characters in this movie complained that the corporation they were working for wasn't giving them training, but was giving them more responsibility. Not giving you training, but giving you more responsibility means that your dumbass didn't pay attention during the training, because you can't get the responsibility without having somebody above you check off on on a book in your folder that you had the training, because they can't fire you for not meeting your responsibilities unless a superior in the corporation checked off that your dumbass had the training. So if your dumbass didn't pay attention during the training and your dumbass got fired for something that you should have known how to do but didn't pay attention to, your dumbass doesn't deserve a fucking job. Jobs are not a right. You have the right to work, but you do not have the right to that job anywhere in the United States. I don't give a fuck who you are, and it's the middle class that create this problem. The middle class think that a job is a privilege. I'm sorry, that a job is a right, that they just get to have a job, and that the job of their choosing is their privilege. And they're fucking wrong. I sat today, I'm going to talk about this for months. I sat today and I watched a kid tell the woman who was there to fire him that he was going to clean the dishes as soon as he was done cleaning the dining room, and then he didn't clean the dining room while he talked to her about that for 15 minutes. Yes, Eric, you get the training so you can do the job, because the job needs doing, and you don't fucking tell anybody you can do it, so that when the job is done wrong, your superior officer gets fired. That's why his ass is paid the way his ass is paid. Time theft is exactly what he was doing. He stole 15 minutes from her right in front of her. And his dumbass didn't even know he was doing it. He does it so habitually, it didn't even occur to him that today's not the day. That place may as well have been boot camp, right? Like Eric, you have a better what is it when the highest kind of superior officer is in the barracks? That's how that building was running today. There was a corporate officer in the building. Everybody's job was on the line. That's the way it should be. Managers don't make shit because managers don't do shit. Yeah. Oh, I have see UDF. When I worked at UDF, I'm going to bury United Dairy Farmers for a while right now. But while I worked for United Dairy Farmers, I was brought on to be fast tracked to get my own store, to be a general manager. And then they fired the guy that hired me, and they transferred me from the store that was training me, and they tried to lose me. And so I spent like 18 or 20 months of my life as an assistant manager for that corporation. And assistant managers just means that you're going to do the job of crew with nobody on your crew. That's what assistant manager means. First assistant manager means you're going to be working your ass alone. That's what that means. If you're making that money, you don't learn anything different. You don't learn anything different than what crew does. All you have is a fucking password. That's the only difference. If you're not salary, you ain't shit. Hourly wage ain't shit. If you aren't salary, you are expendable, disposable, nobody. Hourly is nothing. And if you can't show up to your shift every day on time, every single time, you're a liability if you're hourly. And if you haven't been told directly by your employer that you have excused absences from the office or the workspace. I'm not coming after you, Rach. I'm not coming after anybody in particular. I would call you out by name. I feel like I have. Get to work on time. Do something to make yourself important enough to the company that they give you a fucking salary, that they put you in the company's budget. You, by name, have a byline in the budget. This person is necessary for our yearly. It was so funny. Seth Rogen's character Jeff, right? He's an IT guy. He's an investor type, right? And he's like, oh, I'll just go into this investment firm and I'll just tell them everything I know in an interview, and they'll think I'm a business genius and they'll hire me. Jump cut to him being thrown out by security. And Keanu Reeves goes, hey, did you get the job? And he goes, no, I didn't get the job. They told me that I was hacking their internal systems and they threatened to kill me. Yeah. So when people were like, oh, but you know so much about business and management, why don't you go get a job? Because what I'm not going to do is either A, be threatened with blackball, or B, not get paid what I'm worth. Never working again for anything other than a commission. Never working for anything other than commission. Up front or fuck off. This is called dignity. It's called knowing your worth, knowing your value. Well, my value is $15 an hour. Get fucked. That ain't shit. My value is $150,000. Get fucked. If you can put your value in a dollar amount, you just ain't worth shit. You just ain't worth shit. You're not doing anything to make the industry better. And if you're not doing anything to revolutionize the industry, if you're not doing anything to innovate within the industry, you're nobody. You're just nobody. Take your nobody life and learn to like it. Because you're fucking nobody. Value can't be a Monopoly game. That doesn't even make sense. And that's how I feel coming off that movie. I guess Spoopyween, we're not actually going to do this book because I don't feel like reading this book now. I did get my hernia to stop bulging. So sometimes pain is good for the channel. Maybe it's not. I do know this. I absolutely no longer measure the worth of what I'm doing. I'm not in pain anymore, Rage, and I no longer measure the value of what I'm doing in likes. Likes don't measure the impact of anything. The number of likes I get in a live or a video don't has no is there's no analytical value. There's no um, there's no metrical meaning to be gleaned. They don't mean anything. Likes just don't mean anything outside the people who actually watch your shit. So there two of those likes mean something. The others don't mean anything. I would manually remove them if I could. You don't know me. Pillow. And look, it's abhorrent to me, but I've been talking all day about how I'm prideful and prejudiced. If what you want is for someone else to manage your life, if what you want is for your employer to give you exactly enough to cover all of your expenses and a little bit of fun money, then what you want is to move to North Korea. So immigrate to a communist country and be done with your life. You have the option. North Korea will tell you what to eat, what to dress, where to go. They'll give you all the money you need for all of it, and they'll tell you when to have fun. Go enjoy communism. It is just not your shift manager's responsibility to make sure that you are valuable enough to the company that you have hours. It's just not their job. I sat and listened to that same woman today have a conversation. I couldn't hear what the woman was saying, but I could see her making facial expressions at me looking desperately for empathy because I wasn't giving the woman on the phone call any empathy either because I kept nodding that the woman here in the store was right. She was absolutely right. She's like, well, if you're looking for other work, maybe we should just let you go. And she's like, well, no, I want hours at the Panera, but I'm working at Kohl's and da 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 da. She's like, oh my fucking God. Well, why? Okay, but when you knew that we were doing layoffs yesterday, why didn't you call into the store and see if you were supposed to be working? Well, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, fuck, dude. Has it never occurred to anybody to just go, mea culpa, my bad. I did this wrong. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. Does that occur to fucking nobody? Does it? I know I never heard it. In 15 years in management, I must have worked with 200 people. Let's just say I worked with 200 people, and I never heard anybody accept responsibility for anything. And I've only ever in my life heard one person tell me how they could get better. Tell me personally how they could get better. Is it so foreign to just go, yeah, I thought I was going to get fired and I didn't want to hear the bad news because I'm a flake. And I know that about myself. And so I just didn't want to get the bad news. Well, you weren't laid off. Say thank you and get off the phone with me. Thank you. I'll be there on time every time. And I won't use my being there on time every time contingent of getting more hours. You show up on time every time, and suddenly you've got 60 hours. And you're going, wait a minute, I didn't want 15 of these. Never hear it. It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, they didn't call me. You were supposed to call, but they didn't call me. Yeah, you fucked up, bitch. You fucked up. Just say I done fucked up. Who gives a shit if they fire you? There's no record. There's no record. You were protected by federal law. All you have to do is say, yeah, I was working at a place that's not relevant to this job and leave it off your resume. And you know what they can do about it? Fuck all. If they call your previous employer and your previous employer buries you, and that's why you didn't get this new job, and you find out about it, you know what you can do? Sue your previous employer and then never work again. You live in the United States. Assuming you live in the United States. If you live somewhere other than the United States and you listen to my work, you might be a dumbass. Abby is the exception. There's an exception to every rule. And if you watch my work and you're not from the US, you don't identify as an American, you're probably a dumbass. Seriously. I am going to talk shit to your face about how your country is a shithole, and you're going to learn to like it. Why are you here? I am not here to preach to non-Americans about how they could get their shit together and they could be a part of the modern gig economy. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't. You're less than a sub-citizen of the United States. Your country is a military holding of my country. It's a territory of my country. You are less than a citizen. I don't give a fuck about you. You nominally have a government that's supposed to give a fuck about you. Cry to those people, not me. I could not care less. No, I do not like French people. I actively don't like French people. I'm very racist toward French people. France is one of the worst places in the entire world. You want to talk about racism? There's a difference between a French person and an Algerian French person. You know what the difference is? The Algerian person has to keep the hyphen. They have to wear the hyphen. African Americans don't have to wear that hyphen. They don't have to. They choose to because they are the second most racist people in the world. And you know where they get it? France. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. The only revolution anyone ever models themselves after in the modern world is the French Revolution. Nobody models themselves after the American Revolution because the American Revolution succeeded. Prove me wrong. You really gonna look to the Bolshevik Revolution? The bullshit revolution? You really gonna look to that? No, you're gonna look to the French Revolution. A hyphen, yeah, African hyphen American, Irish hyphen American, Algerian hyphen French, yes, hyphen. The hyphenated American argument was fought very fiercely in the 1950s. There were lynchings over it. It was fierce, and fighting is what it was in the 1950s in the United States over the hyphenated thing. There were many groups in the United States that wanted to maintain the hyphen, the Mexican American, the Irish American, the Scottish American, the French, German, African American. They wanted to maintain that, and they were killing one another over it, especially the Irish, the Scotch, no, I'm sorry, the Irish, the Italian, and the English Americans. English American was a thing. And so all that racism that you think you know, the highfalutin, whatever, Asians can't drive, black people with the chicken and the watermelon and the collard greens, and Irish with the whiskey, and the Scottish with Celts, and all of that is English hyphen American racism, and everybody emulating it was emulating it because the English hyphen Americans owned everything. Everything. Poor people emulate what they think rich people are like. But rich people treat poor people like animals. Does your dog know what you're really like? What does your dog know of what you're really like? I used to tell the kids that worked with me lies about what my life outside of work was like. And I say kids, I do mean 50-year-old adults. When I managed, I used to tell them lies about what my life was like outside of work to see how far away from that shift and that person the rumor got. And it always got minimum 3 degrees of separation away. It always found 3 choke points to get past. Always. And usually it was up. It was absolutely not down. I had the stores that I worked at believing absolute bananas nonsense about me. And I lost a bunch of jobs about it. They didn't need to know my real life. And I would tell them, yeah, that's not true. I lied to you just to fuck with you. And they're like, oh, but you're tanking my social cred. Okay, your social credibility should have absolutely nothing to do with telling my tales out of school. It's not your place to tell that up to anybody. If I wanted that person to know that, I would have told that person, but I did not. I told you. Just decency. Decency is just missing among middle and lower class people. Upper class people have to behave. They behave like they're indecent in front of television cameras. But when you see these real housewives, these were poor bitches. These were bitches who were for sale. These are prostitutes. These are not women who were born to that lifestyle. They were born to that lifestyle. They would be largely bored with it and disengage from it, and they most certainly would not engage in those conflicts. They would have no time or interest for those conflicts because they are busy. People who are born to that money, that life, are busy. They're busy, busy, busy. Even if to you it looks like all they're doing is going on vacation and having lunch, they are busy, 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 busy. And all of that stuff that to you, poor person, seems like bullshit, all of it makes money. They wouldn't do it if it didn't make money. They wouldn't show up to that lunch. They wouldn't schedule that lunch if that lunch wasn't going to net a profit for the cost of the fuel to get there. And their fuel doesn't just cost what your fuel costs. Someone else is driving. They're renting the car for the trip. Like, you don't understand rich people. And so rich people being stingy with their tip is because you didn't fucking earn it. You didn't do anything. They know the value of the dollar. They know the value of the labor. And not just in the United States, not just at the lowest levels of the United States. They know that they could buy whole towns in Mexico. They know what this economy, what this world and what is available in what markets. And they've known since before they could comprehend that everyone doesn't. And so when you start acting stupid and losing money around them, it's not their fucking responsibility. It just isn't. Like, it is just not the responsibility of these retirees who come through the Panera to give me money to make sure that I eat lunches. Not their fucking problem. It isn't. It's not the problem of the kids at this Panera to make sure that that I'm fed and to steal from the corporation like Taco Bell. It's not Taco Bell's job. It's not the shift manager's job to make sure that I have adequate calories. It's just not. It's just not. In fact, making sure that I have adequate calories is how word of mouth gets around that you can get free food there if you pretend to be poor. And then you have a real problem in your community, because if pretending to be poor nets you a profit as a person, then everybody's just going to be poor. Fuck pretending to be poor. Look at Seattle. Look at LA. Fuck pretending to be poor to get government and rich people handouts. Everybody just is poor. Because now what? You started as a government, you started as a rich person. Now you got all these fucking strays in your yard. What are you going to do? You just suddenly going to you're going to What do you do when what does a town or a city do when they have a deer problem? You just going to start hunting the poor? Yes, because the rich will get away with it. Yeah. Yeah, you start getting poor communities to go into gang conflicts with one another. You put a drug in one that the other doesn't have access to, and then you watch them kill one another. It's how they emptied New York of black people so it could gentrify right now. It happened. Purge them with drugs and cheap firearms. And it's easy. It's not even conspiratorial. It's easy. Why do you think white supremacists are fucking rich and they make their money in drugs and weapons? It's the only way to keep your community from being gentrified by rich people. Because rich people don't want to live where poor people are. And like I said, they know they can buy out whole communities. So they do. Wasn't it I always want to call it Boston, but Boston's not in New York. Was it Harlem recently that was bought out by middle class whites? A, a bunch of black communities in New York City were bought out by middle class whites recently, within the last 20 years, before COVID. Detroit, middle class whites are trying, or not middle class whites, upper class whites are trying to gentrify Detroit. They're trying to make that a real city again. Why wasn't it a real city to begin with? A million people sitting around expecting GM and Ford to just continue to pay for them to make cars that were falling apart around people's ears. Why are airplanes the way? Why is the whole air travel industry the way it is? People work in it thinking that they deserve to be paid a certain way and that they get to treat people a certain way, that they're better than people because they work at an airline. Go fuck yourself. You work for a fucking taxi. That was a new and prestigious technology in the 1920s. Go fuck yourself. It's 100 years. Fuck. Southwest Airlines only recently figured out fucking assigned seating. Fuck. Innovation's not hard. Improvement's not hard. But it starts at the self. It starts itself. And Jordan Peterson's not wrong. He's an asshole, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. If you want to get better at something, you just do it until you're exhausted, and then you do it tomorrow. You just do as much of it as you can until you're exhausted, and then you stop and you do it tomorrow. It's not hard. It's going to feel like the most difficult thing in the entire universe, but then you're going to find yourself with a manuscript with 1,000,000 words. every single one of them needs to be on the page, and there are a million missing ones. It doesn't have to be marketable. Why does everything need to be marketable? Why does everything need to be mass produced? Why does everything need to be internationally sold? You, you do not need to be an international horse trader. You just don't. You don't. It doesn't make you better. But if you get so good at what you do, there's an international demand. There's absolutely no reason that you can't employ international horse traders. You don't have to be good at everything. All you have to be good at is what you want to be good at. So do it. What's stopping you? Nike's been telling you to just do it, regardless of whether you buy into and wear the brand for 100 years. Probably not, since the 70s, probably. You have all these slogans surrounding you, just screaming at you to make yourself something other than what? Something better. Just screaming it at you. Life is good. Just do it. What's McDonald's? Ba 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 ba. Just loving it. Right? The king. Have it your way. Everybody is telling you. Every slogan out there is telling you to be your best self. And all of them are telling you with some product. Is it possible that maybe your best self isn't something you can buy your way to? Have you ever thought about that? Maybe you can't buy your best self. Maybe there's just no buying it. Like there was another moment from the trailers that I really wanted to see. I really wanted to see how it played out in the movie, whether they let that be the moral of the movie since it showed up in the trailer. Keanu Reeves, his angel Gabriel, is talking to his superior angel, his boss, and explaining his fuck up. And he's saying, "Well, I thought that if I switched their lives, he would realize that money won't solve all of his problems." And then it turned out that money solved most of his problems, but it didn't solve most of his problems because his underlying cowardice and quickness to lie made his problems much worse, and in fact endanger his life throughout the course of the narrative. I liked that a lot. I liked that a lot because in a comedy, especially an irreverent comedy like Dogma, you can have these divine characters say and do things that are absurd because your movie going audience probably knows the tropes. But what you can also do is reach to a deeper place where the abstracted character like an angel reaches to a real place that they really exist in, and then you can go for something that doesn't just deserve you to suspend your disbelief. And by suspend your disbelief, I mean suspend your disbelief like Damocles' sword, or rather the sword above Damocles' head. You just hang it there and hope that your disbelief in this thing that you're watching, this fiction, won't crash down and kill or destroy your enjoyment of what you're watching. And this wasn't a movie that encourages simple suspension of disbelief. It encourages a kind of worldview, a kind of way of life, a kind of embrasure of belief. You don't have to believe that this was real, that it was historical, but you can believe that the morals, the lessons being taught, the the sociopolitics being examined, they're all real. And then you can find yourself on a precipice, like Indiana Jones, between the material and the real ideal hyphenated here. And so you've got the real material hyphenated, but you've also got the real ideal hyphenated, these separate things, and you find yourself on a precipice with an ideal real bridge between you and the truth, between you and a better life, between you and that better version of you that all of the real material things are telling you are marketable, that you can just buy with labor someday in the future. But whether you step out into that apparently empty nothing space that is the ideal real, and you walk that evidently empty span to the other side, until you do that, don't fucking talk to me. Just don't fucking talk to me. We don't have anything to talk about. Not without a super chat. We just don't have anything to talk about. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm sitting on the other side. I can hear you, but you're so fucking far away. I'm not trying to shout at you. It's like Gabriel's boss tells him that he is not contracted and employed high enough in the scheme of God's real ideal plan to guide people. My job is not to guide you. I'm not your guardian angel. I'm not your genius. And we're just not friends. We're not peers. We're not enough alike. Letting you think we're friends is an insulting condescension from my perspective. From my perspective, Rach, Eric, you're both working. You're both keeping up. At least making an effort. Look what I'm making. I'm not just sitting here. I'm hearing you. I'm making, but I want to hang out. I'm not talking at you two right now. You doom scrollers and you thumb warriors. I look down on all of you. All of you. I love some of you very much. Some of you have given me money, and so the conversation was for the money. So future conversations are hoping more is coming. But I look down on all of you. All of you are wasting time. All of you are spending money that's not coming back. All of you. And that time that you're wasting listening to me and arguing with me and saying things that you know are going to be held for review, that you know are just going to disrupt the flow of my paying audience. All you are doing is wasting. Just waste. It's no different. It's no different than being born into waste, born into wealth, and spending what was allotted to you before you've made anything for yourself. Donald Trump is the man he is today because he squandered multiple fortunes. Why wait until the first fortune is squandered? Why wait until your youth is gone? I went into this tent so my youth would finally be gone. So my beauty would finally begin to fade. This material, real, oh, he's so good looking. Oh, he's got such a big dick. Oh, he's so athletic. Oh, he's so smart. So at least the outward would begin to fade. What have you done to grow into your myth? That's what I want to know. That's what pisses me off about all of you that I meet. All of you scrollers that I meet. What the fuck are you doing to work on your myth? When your grandkids talk about you, well, he doom scrolled. That's how he spent his time. Is that what you want people to know about you? Well, he died behind the wheel, rear-ended somebody, doom scrolling. When the cops got there and they inspected the wreck, it turns out it was a guy who was putting condoms on a pumpkin until it exploded. That's what he was doing when he died. And that's what you're leaving your parents and your friends and your loved ones to remember. Your search history. Is that where we're at? Really? Taylor Swift is the voice of our generation. And clean your search history so your mom doesn't have to find your porn. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. We all do things we're embarrassed of, and that's all we do. Why? Who does it benefit? And like, what eats me is like, I'm listening to Yahtzee Croshaw today and I realize that I'm 9 minutes into a 21-minute video and I hate it. And all I'm thinking is, I'm a YouTube premium subscriber. He's making money while I do this. I'm losing money. I'm losing time. I'm getting emotionally agitated. And he's getting enriched. Why the fuck am I doing this? And then I go live. When I find myself, why the fuck? I go live. I read a book. I make a video. I write a novel. Something. Because scrolling is unacceptable to me. It can be acceptable to you. Whatever. We live in a relativist worldview. We live in a relativistic world where to each their own, so long as it's convenient to us. Because as soon as it's inconvenient to us, our way or the highway. We all know that. We all know that. My house, my rules. We all know that. But we'll say to each their own, because we want people to leave us alone and let us do whatever we're going to do and hold us to no standard. Well, to each their own standard. But is that true? Is it? Is it? Because Yahtzee Croshaw was bitching about how Symphony of the Night didn't have the then industry standard UI. Okay. To each their own standard, right? Right? Or when you go to McDonald's, do you expect the guy behind the grill to meet the standard of every other person behind the grill? Because McDonald's has a standard. So maybe there just isn't a standard human behavior. Maybe it's not everybody gets to pick their own. Maybe there is a standard. Maybe there is a minimum effort requirement. Maybe. I know there's definitely a minimum effort requirement to remain in my proximity for long without me telling you that you annoy me or me outright ignoring you. If there's not for you, then what you are is not a discreet and discriminating person. There should be a standard. Bathrooms, public bathrooms shouldn't smell like shit. I don't care where they are. Shouldn't smell bad. Shouldn't be hard to clean. You accepted the job. The job came with cleaning toilets. Yeah, my first assistant manager job at UDF did not come with cleaning toilets. And so when I was cleaning a toilet every day when I walked in, I fucking walked out. This is not my job. You have 3 people who work here who have crew on their fucking name tag and a dirty fucking toilet when I walk in every day. They can either clean this toilet or you can find somebody else to do what I do for this company. I'm the fuck out. Have some fucking dignity and do your job. Your job. If your job is not to stand over the necks of your coworkers, get the fuck off my fucking back. But if your job is stand on the necks of your coworkers. They better be fucking dying every night. That's what you were paid for. Let's go. Like this, oh, Taco Bell's too fast paced. You applied. What did you think you would be doing? And that, the fucking applying to every job opening, fucking quit it. Fucking quit it. Pick a job, want it, apply to one job, be qualified for it, call, interview well, get the job. Quit this, I'm going to apply for 1,000 jobs so I'm exhausted when I actually find the one I want. Or be prepared for the future. Be prepared. You know you're fucking unemployed. Live on a budget. Stop drinking. Stop smoking. Or make just enough money to get those things. But this unemployment insurance shit, I have never used unemployment insurance once. Never once. I have never used food stamps as an adult. Not once. I've accepted $0 of social safety net. Zero as an adult. I'm 38. I've been an adult since I was 18, and I have had many jobs, and I have accepted $0. Why? I haven't needed them. I can be productive between jobs. Rich, I have pride. I watched my mother spend hundreds of dollars of food stamp money on candy and sodas when I was a kid. I watched her spend my father's child support, not even during the pandemic. I mean, that's different. The stimulus money, that's stealing from the government. They want to give me money to buy a TV. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to buy a TV. And I did. That's not social safety net money. That's stimulus money to keep the economy from crashing so that we all get to eat the next season. The economy crashes, food stops, and where are you going to get your food? You're not. That's the answer. Everybody starves. So the stimulus, I took the responsibility of being an American and keeping my economy moving very seriously. Very seriously. And I had jobs that whole time. When I didn't have jobs, I was working. I was making money. People are going to say, "Oh, I gave you money." Yeah, you did. For your reasons. But I earned it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't do this. Oh, that a sob story. You can believe that or not believe that. You can either have been here and know me or not have been here and not know me. I do not care. But I was this same dude. I got these skill sets from years and years of practice. Hell, when we moved, when my wife, we were newlyweds, when we moved from Silva, North Carolina, where she was using her school money. I think she paid the rent. If I remember right, she used her money, student loans and grants to pay our rent, and then I paid everything else with my job. I didn't let her work. I didn't want her working. I didn't let her work. She would talk about it. Oh, I should get a job. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're going to school and you're finishing school. You're not going to pull the, oh, I'm going to get a part-time job and then I'm too tired for school and then drop out of school shit. No, you're getting your master's. You're finishing your master's and you're getting good grades. My girlfriend's no fucking dummy. But when we moved, I had set back, I had saved up a bunch of tax returns. So I had a bunch of money. I had about $500 or $600. And I ended up spent that so she could get a job. Yeah, she finished her master's and she got good grades. Yes. I was very proud of her. But I just wasn't going to let her put herself in the situation to jeopardize that. Because she was going to. And she did, ultimately. Ultimately, she did jeopardize the master's meaning anything by refusing to take jobs that were experience in her field. She kept taking retail jobs that weren't experience in history or public history. And she couldn't curb her spending. But even when I knew I was going through a period of homelessness, or not homelessness, joblessness, I went into it with $600, which is a lot, actually. That can take a real long time to eat if you're doing it right. But I spent it so she could get job certification. I spent it on a job that she ultimately quit. But that's another thing that poor people don't understand about being rich. It's picking where you spend your money. It's picking your investments. Rich people are rich because they spend their money in ways that grow their money. So they don't have to think about, like one of the big set pieces of one of the big set pieces of Good Fortune was Jeff, and then the rich guy, the rich character, whether it was Jeff or Ari. I think that's probably not his name, but um, he has this pool. And he's got this heater for his pool, and it keeps going bad. It's bad, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And then the guy's like, the repair guy's like, it's going to be $60,000 for the part, and then $3,000 for the repair. And the rich guy's just like, yeah, whatever, get it done. I don't care. I just want it to be hot. Like they can do that. They can do that because they've made so many other choices in their spending that just made more money. You can do that sort of thing. You can do something like, oh shit, I need new headphones, and just have them because you've spent your money well. Even if it means you have to take out a loan. Even if it means you have to take out a loan. Spending your money well means that people will lend it to you because spending it well means giving it back, paying off your debts. This is important shit. And it just comes with growing up rich because your parents are going to bitch at you or disown you if you don't get these skill sets. But this is why, I was watching a stand-up comedian to talk about this, and she was talking about how um, her family won the lottery when she was a little kid. And she's like, that would normally not be a big deal. And I can see a lot of people out here that are like, oh, you came into a bunch of money. That's cool. And she's like, yeah, but we were white trash. We were poor and then won the lottery. And so we continued thinking and behaving like we were poor, but now with an amount of money that we can no longer spend. So much money, we can't spend it until we can. So much more money than they can imagine. And so if you want to be rich and you want to live like the rich, you need to understand that the rich spend their money liberally where people can see it. And the people they need to see it are usually the people they want to fuck. So if a rich man is spending money on you, he either wants to rip you off or he wants to penetrate you. And that's as much as I have to say on that. That was an hour and a half. I'm no longer in extreme pain, but I am going to have a migraine from the different kinds of light environment that I've put myself through the last 4 or 5 hours. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm going to have a great big old swollen fat nose by the end of this winter. I'm letting my face be exposed to the air a little bit more than I did last year to see how much that affects my beard. And I'm just letting myself be a little, I'm just, no, I'm not letting myself be a little colder than I was last year. I'm letting myself be a little less bundled than I did last year. because I have more adequate gear, so I don't need it. Look, eat the rich. That's one way to go about it. Eat the rich. Fuck the rich. I don't love the rich. I don't love rich people. Fuck the rich. But the rich dehumanize us. I am very poor. The rich dehumanize us because we're animals. We act like it. Specifically, but for example, we don't take care of our own. Poor people don't pool their money together to make sure that they all get to eat. Poor people go where the middle class are giving away their food. And then they buy drugs. No. Poor people are greedy. That's why they don't have anything. I could take you on Monday, and I could pass my camera around and you could see it. But you'll walk in there, and there will be people who've spent all of their food stamp money on cookies and cakes and Mountain Dews and energy drinks. Scarfing down 3-4 plates of free food. Because they don't have food, they don't have money for food. Because they spend it all on chips and cakes and cookies and sugary drinks. They were given a bunch of free money they didn't have to work for. So they're going to spend it on what they want to. And what they want to spend it on is their addictions. Sugar's a drug. Added sugar on the back of anything may as well just say cocaine. Added cocaines. I eat sugar. I mean, you guys see me. You watch me suck down my 1 Mountain Dew a day, my fruit juice. You'll hear me talk about, man, I could really eat whatever, a cookie or whatever. I could just eat a whole box of Skittles or whatever. You'll hear me talk about it. But that shit's a drug. That shit hits your brain, and your brain says happy. Diabetes is probably why you've got bipolar. Not you, Rach. But you can't figure out why you're just depressed all the fucking time? You're addicted to sugar. You can only be happy when you have sugar in your environment. It's like ask a smoker. It's like that Snickers commercial, but seriously, ask a smoker who hasn't smoked in about 15 minutes and they're starting to get cranky. You smoked recently? You need some nicotine, baby? I get irritable when I haven't had a little bit of nicotine hit my system recently. I get nauseous when I haven't had weed in about 3 or 4 hours. I'm not better than you. I'm just a truth teller. Neither of us has to like this process. I don't love this. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm just saying. When you wake up in a bad mood and you just can't get out of that bad mood until you've had some alcohol, it's the alcohol's the problem. You cut that shit out of your life, and you'll be talking to me in 9 days. I give it 9 days, fewer than 10 days, more than 5, fewer than 10. You'll be coming to me saying, "Man, I just wake up in a great mood every day. I'm just so happy to be alive now. It's just like my whole life is just changed all the way around." It's like, yeah, you're not drunk anymore. You're not waking up fucking miserable, dehydrated, hurting, needing to pee. Your body's not bloated. Of course you're in a better mood when you wake up every day now. Don't get me wrong. I wake up sometimes and I'm like, all I want in the whole world is to smoke a bowl, beat off and or fuck something, and go right back to bed. I'm the same way. I am the same species of creature that you are. And this has honey. This is simulating sweetness. Because I am also addicted to sugar. I am probably irritable now because all I had to eat today was some popcorn and a sugar drink. So negligible empty calories, mostly air, and sugar. That's actually why I'm eating this. Is because I probably did this rant because I'm irritable. Probably has nothing to do with any of you. That's why to the people that I know are listening, Eric and Rach, I am not talking about you two. But like, if the exception proves the rule, and the exception does prove the rule, the error proves the logic. If the exception proves the rule, and Rach is the female exception and Eric is the male exception, what am I doing? Who am I talking to? Yeah, the rest will pop in and out. It's like, I used to say around April that I want to like you guys. I would like to love you guys. I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to do what I'm doing. But outside of those two, that's just not how I feel. And so saying it would be to misrepresent my emotions. And I've been told before that our emotions kind of are us. I don't think that. But if my emotions are me, then denying my emotions is to deny my deepest and most fundamental self. And why do you deserve that? I can understand, listen, I can understand. I've written a whole novella about this mindset. I can understand why a king thinks that he deserves that. for you to so thoroughly put yourself aside that his decision making is your decision making and his preference is your preference. Yeah. Oh, I haven't kind of been burnt. This is what I'm saying. Rich people are the same way, though. Rich people have also been burnt by trying to fix the world one poor person at a time. Not every rich and successful person was born rich. But what 0% of them are doing is giving their money directly to poor people. What zero of them are doing is showing up at foreclosure courts to just pay off people's debt. Yeah, it's black. I have a tooth that's almost totally gone. All right, dudes. It's probably what, about 4 o'clock now? 3 o'clock. That slut, she'll have been awake for a full 24 hours by now, so I need to go to bed or she never will. Yeah. I don't know, Rach. I don't know. I know I've exhausted myself. I said to push yourself to exhaustion and then stop. And then do it again. And then stop. And then do it again. And then stop. Gotta give yourself rest periods. So I am approaching needing a rest period. Tomorrow we're gonna play Rock of Ages and Hyperdimension Neptunia. I want to smile. I want to laugh. I want to have the kind of crowds where it makes sense for me to just stop watching the chat entirely. to just focus in on the game I'm playing and to have a moderator in the room with me who will key me in on what I need to see and read super chats to me. I deserve that, when I read a book or I choose to watch a movie or when I really do anything, I do deserve, I have earned, I have demonstrated over and over and over that my unique perspective is at least worthy of consideration. But I do not have that. So until I do, I'm going to pick these sores on my face. Part of why I don't get as much traffic is because um, I'm deliberately making sure that the European and Middle Eastern audience are in the late, if not sleeping part of the day. Deliberately avoiding the European and Middle Eastern audience. The Indians are annoying and Chinese don't bother me, but Middle Easterners and Europeans like to cause problems. So I've been deliberately avoiding them, which means that I've been going live after noon. So I've been effectively avoiding the people doom scrolling during their lunch breaks. I don't really know who my lives are for, you, Savage. Um, but I'm here. I was originally going live so I could capture gameplay that was getting corrupted and lost and destroyed and that I couldn't edit. I no longer have that problem. The games I'm playing live wouldn't be conducive to that format now. So I took something and I improvised because the thing that I wanted to do wasn't working. And now it turns that the thing that I improvised into was actually that creatively it was the right move. That was the right move. And so we just figure it out. Yeah, Rach. Yeah, I go live for the people who are working, who want somebody to stand in solidarity with them, somebody who's going to enrich them, somebody who's going to push them to keep working. Like, I think Eric thinks that what I want him to be doing is glued with his eyeballs to the camera, and you guys don't understand. I would never ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do, and I can't sit with my eyeballs glued to a screen. You've watched me edit. You have watched me edit live, and I can't. Eyeballs glued to a screen? No, can't. Call it ADHD if you want, but it's just there's other shit that could be done, other more important shit that can be done. And so I would never, never. It's appalling to me to even consider that I might. I would never ask, like Rach right now. I'm not asking for the four of you who aren't her. I'm not asking Rach to watch this right now to just sit and watch with her eyeballs. I have repeatedly encouraged that she engage her hands and her mind with something other than just looking at me. If you choose to, fine. But I would absolutely recommend doing something creative with your time, even if it's recording video footage that you don't think is good. There's just, you do not know who is going to think that your shit is the best shit ever made. Do you know how I know that? Because there was a very long time where I was thinking that this stuff, my shorts, for instance, that nobody fucking comments on or likes, was just getting, nobody cared. And then people will show up in my lives and be like, "Oh, I watch your shorts every day. I love them. They're part of my favorite part of my day." You just don't know who's gonna like what you make until you make it and present it in front of eyeballs or earballs or whatever. Present it to other humans. And so I've been saying this. I have 1,500 followers or whatever, but I am still very much in the, I don't know what you motherfuckers are here for. I don't know what you motherfuckers like me for. I know what I like me for. I'm clever and witty, pithy and compassionate. I'm a great storyteller, and I am a masterful environmental landscaper. But none of you fuckers know that you want that. Yeah, while you're doing other things. I want you doing other things. Master a skill besides fucking watching. It's like I like watching people play video games. Unless I'm reading. Sure, if I'm reading, that's different. If I'm reading, if I'm lecturing, if I'm doing something important to me creatively, if I'm doing something creative, I want you fucking paying attention. But if we're just sitting here at the fountain and I'm encouraging people to show up, share themselves, make friends, not with me, with one another, if I'm selling my Patreon work, like the Discord has just become an extension of the Patreon at this fucking point. If I'm doing that stuff, I want you guys engaging one another, mostly leaving me the fuck alone. Money first, request after, asshole. And that's the other thing, is that the internet economy has existed for so much longer than these people who run around being assholes in it can possibly comprehend. Playing their own game. Yeah, my three main loyals. I don't know who the third is. Oh, well, Mr. S is doing his own thing at all times. But I want you all doing your own things. We are not the same people. We did not meet doing the same thing. We met in the same digital space. Leave the digital space. Return with a story. Or don't. I can't steal from you if you don't bring me anything to steal. Do you not understand anything? Does nobody understand anything anymore? Yeah, yeah, Gina, for sure. Mr. S is who I thought you were talking about. What up, Noistra? How is? Oh, yeah. Estoy bien. Estoy frío. ¿Tú? Actually, I think I meant to say estoy. I think I said that right. Oh, yeah. It's chilly. Manipulating 2 sleeping bags is not the easiest fucking thing I've ever done. Oh, yeah. Label? Ah. Yeah, it's been time for a minute. Yes, I am. I am ready for sleep times. I am sleeping bagged and warm. I am looking forward very much to the challenge of this. Very much looking forward to the challenge of this winter. I will win. Winter, Mother Winter, I will win. Lady Winter? Probably not Mother Winter. I was born in the. Well, I was conceived in the winter. But I was born in the summer. The summer of '87. An inauspicious year. Both summer babies. Good. I won't forget your birthday in 2025. So no pressure on me. Yeah. Oh yeah, the show's been over for an hour and 45 minutes. Now I'm just winding down to actually sleep. My eyes hurt too much to record anything tonight anyway. Oh, that's what I'm hitting. Wow. Yes, enjoy your sleeps, enjoy your days. Saturday is ahead of me. We're gonna get up early, earlier than I have been this last few days because I'm gonna fall asleep earlier than I have. We're gonna get up early and we're gonna head up to the Panera. We're gonna play Rock of Ages and Hyperdimension Neptunia until I get either bored with either of those or I get tips asking me to play either He Is Coming or Nine Kings or one of my other games that isn't 7 days or Schedule 1. Those are sacred. Mm. That should be in fewer than 12 hours. So, yeah, you too. Um, yeah, I mean, if I ever get a fucking super chat or a Cash App or a PayPal, Patreon, not Patreon so much, but a PayPal, or a notification that has the title of a game that I own and have downloaded onto my hard drive, I will for sure play it for your amusement. Now, how long I play it is going to absolutely be depend on that dollar amount. But until then, we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Tomorrow, I want to play lighthearted and funny games, even if difficult, challenging. So, Rock of Ages, Hyperdimension Neptunia for sure. I don't really think I have any other lighthearted comedy games. Ugh. Yeah. Good night for those who have yet to fall asleep, and good day for those who have. You'll see me again in about, I don't know, fewer than 12 hours.